All right, let's talk about Semantic Kernel. This is Microsoft's big strategic play to actually make AI work, in the real world, inside real companies. So let's just dive right in. Look, we all know that LLMs, large language models, are incredibly powerful. They're brilliant, right? But they're also kind of chaotic. If you want them to do real, mission-critical work inside a business, safely and reliably, you can't just let them run wild. They need guardrails, they need tools, they need memory, and they need crystal clear instructions. And that, right there, is the exact problem Semantic Kernel was built to solve. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll tackle the main challenge for AI in the enterprise. Then we'll peek inside Semantic Kernel itself, see how it stacks up against the competition, look at its evolution, and finally, what it all means for you. All right, so first up, the why. We're talking about the messy, complicated reality of taking this raw, almost wild creative power of AI and plugging it into the super structured, super secure world of corporate software. It's not as easy as it sounds. And this is Microsoft's solution, Semantic Kernel. You can think of it as the essential bridge. On one side, you have that generative, almost magical power of an LLM. On the other side, you've got the structured, predictable, auditable code that businesses actually run on. Semantic Kernel is what connects those two worlds. Okay, let's pop the hood and see how this thing actually works. The whole architecture is built on a really elegant concept, a simple but powerful idea that Microsoft calls the core triad. First part of that triad, plugins. These are basically the tools you give to the AI agent. And there's a really important distinction here. You have semantic functions, think of these for creative stuff like drafting an email. Then you have native code, which is for things that have to be 100% right, no excuses, like updating a customer record in a database. That separation, that's absolutely key for security and being able to audit what the AI is doing. Next up, we have the planner. This is the brain of the operation. You just give it a high-level goal, something like, hey, summarize the latest sales report and then email it to the leadership team. The planner takes that, looks at the plugins it has available, and figures out the exact step-by-step plan to make it happen. It's the orchestrator. And the third piece of the triad is memory. This is what stops the agent from being forgetful. It gives it context, a sense of history. This is absolutely essential for anything complex. Think about a customer support bot that actually remembers your last conversation, or a legal AI that can pull up specific case law it's seen before. Without memory, none of that is possible. Okay, so this is really important to understand. Semantic Kernel isn't just another tool for developers to play with. No, this is a strategic weapon. It's Microsoft's move in the incredibly competitive AI battleground. And this is where it gets really interesting, especially when you compare it to something like LangChain. For a long time, LangChain has been the king of rapid prototyping, especially for the Python community. It's fast, it's flexible, but Semantic Kernel was built with a totally different philosophy. From day one, it was about enterprise-grade stability, security, and deep native integration with a whole Microsoft ecosystem. Yeah, and this quote right here, it just nails Semantic Kernel's killer feature. It's that native C# and .NET advantage. I mean, think about it. For the millions and millions of developers already living and breathing in the Microsoft world, adopting this is so much easier. It's not some foreign thing they have to learn. It feels like home. And check this out, because this shows just how flexible it is. A lot of people might think, oh, it's Microsoft, so it's only for Azure. Nope, not at all. It supports the big three enterprise languages, C#, Python, and Java. And it even has connectors for running local models, like with Llama. This means you can do multi-cloud. You can run it on your own servers. And for big companies worried about data privacy and costs, that is a massive, massive deal. But Microsoft isn't stopping there. They're not standing still. Let's look at how this whole thing is evolving, because they are strategically moving to close any competitive gaps with the next big version of this platform. So here is the big strategic play. Microsoft is basically taking two amazing things and putting them together. They're taking the rock-solid, enterprise-ready foundation of Semantic Kernel, and they're merging it with the super dynamic, collaborative, multi-agent power of another project called AutoGen. The result? A single, unified platform called the Microsoft Agent Framework, or MAF. And this new MAF framework, it's not for simple little tasks. We're talking about managing really complex, long-running business processes. The kind of stuff that might take hours or even days to complete. The kind of stuff that needs checkpoints and maybe even a human to jump in and approve something along the way. That's what this is built for. And if you look at the roadmap, you can see this is all happening incredibly fast. When they say general availability in the first half of 2025, that's a huge signal. That's Microsoft saying this is no longer an experiment. This is a mature, stable, enterprise-ready platform that you can bet your business on for real production work. Okay, so let's bring it all home. What does all of this actually mean for you, for your team, for your company? Let's boil it all down to the most important takeaways. Look, for any CTO or architect out there, the guidance is pretty clear. If you're a .NET shop, you should be standardizing on this. Period. Use its memory features to fast-track your RAG, that's Retrieval Augmented Generation, projects. Start thinking multi-agent from the get-go when you design new stuff, and please, absolutely mandate and enforce strict security practices, especially around credentials. When you get right down to it, this is the whole point. This is the core value. Semantic Kernel, and where it's going with MAF, is the tech that takes AI from being this clever but kind of unpredictable black box and turns it into a reliable, stateful, auditable actor that you can actually trust to run core parts of your business. And that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. As these incredibly powerful agent frameworks become the norm, the central question is going to change. It's not going to be, can we do this anymore? It's going to be, how do we govern this? And, maybe more importantly, who's ultimately in control? That's the real challenge waiting for all of us.